back to another YouTube video. It's your girl, as always, Nisha. Before we get to this video, make sure you all like, share, subscribe, turn your post notifications on, comment down below. I'm trying to talk as loud as I can because the camera this time is all the way over there by the wall. I zoomed in, so it might look like I'm close, but I'm not. But today in this video, I am talking about high-risk pregnancy, labor and delivery. So yeah, make sure y'all tune in to get more educated, because I wasn't educated before. I wasn't educated before I had my last child, but I think I'm more educated now. So yeah, make sure you all like, share, subscribe, turn post notifications. So let's get into this video. So I'm trying to get back to doing videos more often. I'm trying to get back to posting videos more often. If you're not already following me, make sure you follow me on social media. You follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Snapchat. I'm going to drop everything down below. Stay connected with me just in case I don't do a video. You always connected with me, and follow me on TikTok. For my pregnancy, I did do videos. I wasn't able to upload because something happened with my computer. The plug you connect the computer to, that plug was messed up. So I wasn't able to post them, but I do have videos of my pregnancy, which I think I'm going to just edit them all and post 2 weekly. I don't know. During my labor, I got videos of actually like delivering him, not during the whole labor process. So my baby is a month. I had him last month in May. I was supposed to get induced, and I didn't want to get induced. I was supposed to get induced on a Monday. I didn't want to get induced, so I went to the doctor. My doctor was out of town. She referred me to see a midwife in her office. So I seen the midwife. And my doctor didn't want the midwife to check me or anything because she was afraid I was going to go into labor without her. My doctor was like, telling her, like, if you do that, she's going to go into labor. She's not going to want anybody to deliver her, which I didn't want anybody to deliver me. But I didn't want to go into labor without my doctor. But I didn't want to get induced either. So my biggest fear was getting induced, because if you've been induced and you went into natural labor, you know being induced kind of hurt, because it's like you're sitting in a bed, and to me the contractions come harder. Like, they come stronger and harder versus being like going naturally into labor. I guess I could say that, because when you go into natural labor, the contractions isn't so hard. So yeah, like the contractions slowly come. But anywho, I went to the doctor on a Thursday. I had the midwife to check me anyways, and the midwife checked me. She checked me. She pulled my mucus plug. And when she checked me, I think I was 1 centimeter. She moved me up to 2. It's possible, y'all. They can't move you up to 2 before anybody get on. They can't move you. Yes, they can move you up to 2. It's possible. Trust me. You got a good midwife, a good doctor. They capable of doing anything. Don't let nobody tell you it's not possible. It's possible. So she checked me. But I wasn't having contractions. I thought, because she was telling me, like, as soon as she take it, I'm going to start having contractions within the next 12 to 24 hours. She was like, it's possible I could go into labor on a Saturday. So I'm like, oh gosh. In between though, I was having contractions, but they wasn't like labor contractions. So anywho, I end up going into labor on a Sunday. But I waited as long as I can. When I woke up, I was not having contractions. I'm going to tell you that. Sunday morning, I woke up. No, I was not having any contractions whatsoever at all. The contractions actually came Sunday at 12, that afternoon. I started having contractions, but they wasn't like, they were back contractions. They wasn't like regular contractions. These contractions was different. This is my 3rd child, so I can tell y'all, like, these contractions was different. With Madison, I got induced. That's how I know, like, being induced is worse. because with my son Mason, I went into labor on my own. I did majority of my laboring at home. And by the time I went to the hospital, I think I was only in the hospital in labor for like not even 12 hours, not even 10 hours. So with my baby, I did my laboring at home too. Yeah, I did most of my laboring at home. So I went into labor at 12 that afternoon. The contractions was different. So that's one reason why I didn't go to the hospital. The second reason is, y'all, because I was in a whole other state when I actually went into labor. If y'all know, we're on the border of Indiana. So we went to Indiana to do a little shopping. And yeah, I was just trying to walk. That was my goal. I was trying to walk. I'm like, because my baby was sitting up high. And I'm going to insert a picture where you all can see that my baby was sitting up high. So my stomach didn't even go down. So I'm like, oh. I just knew like this labor was going to be extremely long. If y'all can hear the TV, that's the TV outside of the room. Down the hall is loud. So I just want to let y'all know because I can hear the TV. But yeah, so my stomach was sitting up high. So I wanted to walk. That was my main goal, was to walk my baby down. And I did not want to have a C-section. I didn't want to have a C-section. So yeah. But we came home like around 8. And the contractions was, now when I went into labor at 12, the contractions, they were different. Like I said, they didn't hurt. But I was praying like, oh God, please let these contractions stay. I didn't want them to stop. So I got home like around 8, fed the kids, bathed the kids, put them to sleep. And I just sat on the couch. I had my stuff ready, but I wasn't ready. But I sat on the couch. I sat there. I ended up falling asleep. I woke up at 11. And I'm like, you know what? Just go to the hospital. Because I knew with my son, my first son, I knew like, he came out on his own. If I didn't make it to the hospital when I made it to, my son would have been delivered here. But my second son, I'm like, just go to the hospital. I don't want my mom to deliver me. Like, I don't want her to freak out or whatever. So I ended up going to the hospital. So I got dressed. Jumped in the shower, grab what I can, grab the diaper bag. Now the diaper bag was ready. Me personally, I was not ready whatsoever. Like, when I tell y'all I wasn't ready, I was not ready. But I just jumped in the shower, grabbed what I can. I jumped in the shower, grabbed what I can, and left out. So my mom ended up taking me. She ended up bringing the kids out because it was just her and my 2 at home with me. So we brought the kids out. Madison, of course, was asleep. Mason was woke. I told him, like, I'll see you later. And when I got to the hospital, it was like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock that night. 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock in the morning. And I went to the hospital that I was supposed to be induced there. Because I was supposed to go on that Monday at 6 in the morning. So I went. And they like, yeah. They asked me, like, how far are my contractions? And I'm telling them, like, hurt. But they really was not close. My contractions, literally, I was like 8 to 10 minutes. And I know I'm not supposed to go to the hospital until they're like 4 to 5 minutes apart. But they was like 8 to 10 minutes apart. And I'm like, yeah, they hurt or whatever. And when I got there, they like, oh, well, I see you having a contraction, but they're not close. So they was like, we're going to keep an eye on you. That was their thing. I didn't tell them I was going to do anything. And then they end up finding out. They end up looking in the chart, finding out that I was actually scheduled to get induced in a few hours. I'm not going to say no doctor's names, but we just going to call her Dr. P. Dr. P was like, I'm going to keep you. You're already getting induced. Dr. M is inducing you. I'm like, okay, cool. So they end up keeping me. So I texted my mom. I'm like, yeah, they was going to keep me. Because my mom was like, text me and let me know. Because they might not keep you. They might send you home and tell you to come back. Which, that was my thought too. Because nowadays, if you're not in labor, they're sending you home. They're going to watch you for a few hours. But they're going to send you home. So 6 o'clock came. My doctor, Dr. M came in. I think I called her Dr. M. But if I didn't, I'm calling her Dr. M. My doctor came in. And she was like, she rushed in the room and she said she seen that I came in and she was hoping I did not have a baby. She came in and she was like, okay, you know, you didn't have a baby. But, oh, okay, let me jump back. When I went in, they checked me. I was 2 centimeters. This is at 12. When they checked me at 3 in the morning, I jumped from 2 to 4 centimeters. Mind y'all, I'm not in active labor. I'm just dilating. Not in active labor. And y'all gonna, some people might argue me up and down. Once again, it's impossible for you to dilate without being in active labor. And it's not. Trust me. So, I was not in active labor. So, as the morning progressed, my dilation, like, I was dilating quickly. Yeah, so by the time my doctor came in, now we're going to jump to the time my doctor came in, I still wasn't, my contraction still was within that range. They was long, you know what I'm saying? My sister ended up, because my sister ended up coming up there because my mom was at home with the kids. So my sister, I don't even think my sister, I think my mom put the kids on the bus. Because I know my mom took my kids, because I begged my mom, like, don't go to work, don't go to work, don't go to work. So my mama didn't go to work. Shout out to them for being there, my mom and my sister, because, y'all, I'm, like, calling, like, whoever I could call, like, trying to see. Oh, so, yeah, I'm calling who I could call. I'm trying to tell y'all, make sure I tell y'all everything. I'm calling who I could call, like, trying to see who woke. Man, y'all, this is, like, 5, 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning. Who wakes up that early? Unless, like, you work at a school, you work at a bank, like your job, like, requires you to get up that early. So yeah, so I'm calling to see who I could call. Pretty much, those are the two I got in contact with. So after my doctor come in, we started talking. Now about 6 o'clock in the morning, I think I was dilated, like 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. I think I was dilated to 6. I dilated to 6 at the time. Like, I was jumping. So the lady came in. So I don't know how every hospital works, but I know the hospital that I have my child at, I have to sign for 2 people only to come up to see me. 2 people could come up to see me. Those were the only 2 people. They were the only 2 people that could be in the labor room. And yeah, they were the only 2 people to come and see me and my baby throughout the whole hospital stay, which was so weird. I was like, ugh. I'm calling my mom, like, I'm calling, trying to see who want to come with me before I put certain names on the list or whatever. So I ended up putting my mom and my sister on the list, which was totally fine. Like, my mom and my sister, they were cool. My other siblings was cool too about it. Like, it wasn't like no dispute, no argument. You know, some people be like, well, you chose them over me. It wasn't like that. So I ended up putting them on the list. So around, maybe, matter of fact, I think it was around 5 in the morning I put them on the list. Yeah, around 5 in the morning I put them on the list. But also around that time, I caught myself getting an epidural. And this is where everything, like, went downhill for me. Like, it went really downhill for me because everybody know, like, I had high risk pregnancy, high blood pressure. So high blood pressure causes you to be high risk, and having high blood pressure can lead to things which you don't want it to. But in my case, it's any major or serious things. But yeah, so for one, I got an epidural. They had to test me to make sure I didn't have any COVID. Like, they gotta make sure you're not sick, y'all. Sorry, y'all, I'm getting my thoughts together. Y'all probably look like, what? But yeah, they test you to make sure you don't have COVID. Okay. When I come and do it, my mind is freaking out because I'm like, oh God. You know, like, if you're doing an epidural, hey, sticker bag. When you're doing an epidural, you know, I'm sitting like this. Mind you, my baby, he just made 6. But at the time, he was only 5. So it's been that big old gap since I had a kid. So I'm sitting like this. And they not telling me, like, you know, laying your back like this. I'm sitting like this with the pillow like this. I got a pillow like this. And I'm sitting like this. You know, like sitting straight. My back straight. Versus my back being like this. And, you know, they holding you like the lady... The nurses hugging you. At the previous hospital, I had my other 2 kids at. The nurses actually hug you. So you can be in a position, you know, your neck down. They hug you. Y'all, these people was... The lady did not do none of that. I'm sitting straight, y'all. The man trying to work the epidural. I heard some pop. I'm like, oh, I heard some pop. He's like, no, you didn't. Sir, yes, I did. This is my body. I heard something pop on my right side. He's like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. Then the man couldn't get it in. He pulled it out. He like, oh, crap. I scraped your spine. I'm like, oh, my God. He's like, I'm going to tell you, if you have a spine, if you have a headache, we call it a spinal headache. I got some medicine to get rid of it. So then he finally get the epidural in. And it took him like 30 to 45 minutes to get the epidural in because I didn't want to feel the contractions. Well, I wasn't worried about the contractions. I was worried more about feeling the baby come out. Some of y'all gonna look at me like I'm crazy, but I was worried about feeling the baby come out. And yeah, so I didn't want to experience that. So, hi Kitty. I didn't want to experience the baby come out. So, what happened was, he was like, I'm gonna give you some medicine. And y'all, it didn't even dawn on me, like click in my head what he was saying. But he was like, I'm gonna give you some medicine. He said, I got this needle, it's full of medicine. He said, I'm gonna put it in. He said, and in the next few minutes, well, from the epidural, he was like, you know, do your legs feel numb? I'm like, yeah, like they slightly numb, but I never questioned it. But he was like, in the next few minutes, your whole body go numb. He was like, and it's okay. I'm like, okay, because you know with epidural, you sound a waiver and stuff. I'm like, okay. So when he did that, y'all, it was just like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I wasn't feeling contractions. Whatever he gave me, I wasn't feeling contractions for 3 hours. So at this time, I'm like, cool. So as time progressed, they checking me. They're like, oh, okay, you know, you're 7 centimeters. You're almost there. I'm like, okay. So 9 o'clock come. And the lady started checking me. They're like, you know, checking me. And I'm like, ooh, don't check me no more because I can feel a contraction. Y'all, so I'm starting feeling these contractions by this time. Like, when I tell you I'm feeling these contractions, I'm really feeling these contractions. Y'all, the epidural stopped working. I don't know what the lady did. Like, the lady was in the room for a long time. So, my doctor was like, she's 8 centimeters. She was like, and her water didn't bust. Mind y'all, my contractions still like far apart. That's why I'm like, I could handle it, but I'm like, can you turn this on? Because I shouldn't be able to feel these. Like, if I got epidural, I shouldn't be able to feel these. Some people do feel it, some people don't. But me, I just don't want to feel nothing at all. So, hi, handsome. So, when I got the epidural, I'm like, I shouldn't feel it, but I'm feeling it at 9 o'clock in the morning. Mind y'all, that's like a, what, 2 or 3 hour range that I could feel these contractions after I got the epidural. So my doctor busted my water. The lady turned me on my left side. Now during my pregnancy, I couldn't lay on my left or my left side or right side because it was so painful. I don't understand why it was painful, but it was painful. Couldn't lay on either side. Y'all, as soon as that lady turned me over, it had to be like 9:45. Y'all, excuse my language, all hell broken loose. I'm like, turn me back on my back. I feel this baby coming out. I should not feel this baby coming out. Something not right. Y'all, I started screaming, hollering. Ridiculous. I felt my baby coming out. That's the part I didn't want to do. I told, like, some people probably look at me like, you crazy. Y'all, I have never in my life experienced a baby come out. Like, seriously. My other 2 kids, I was so numb that I didn't feel them come out. My son came out on his own. My daughter, I pushed her. It took me like maybe 4 or 5 pushes to get her out. This baby, I called myself pushing him out. I wasn't able to push him out, but I was screaming, y'all. I was going crazy. I was panicking, like crying because I didn't know what was happening. But he ended up coming out on his own too. My mom was sitting in the corner. My mom was sitting in the corner. My sister was on the side. My sister was taking all type of pictures and stuff. It was so horrible. Like, that experience was so horrible. I was like, oh my God. And my doctor, this is my same doctor. She's been with me for all 3 of my kids. She was just at a different hospital. So maybe 45 minutes after labor, 45 minutes to an hour after labor, y'all, I had got like this worst headache. Because I ended up dozing off when I thought I was numb by the epidural. I ended up dozing off, getting a little sleep. But I had got this worst headache. The top of my back was hurting. And my whole neck to my head was hurting. I'm like, oh, I'm sitting in the bed. I'm like, oh, I got a headache. I'm like, oh, my neck and stuff hurt. I'm thinking it's cause the way I was the way I was acting when it was time to push out, y'all. That was the epidural. The epidural caused my neck, my whole neck, the bottom of my head, the top of my head to hurt. Plus, give me a major headache, y'all. And I was complaining. My sister, this was like the next day. My sister like, no, y'all need to do a CT on her. Something not right. She didn't come to y'all like this. Like, what's wrong with my sister? They ended up doing a CT. I ended up finding out I had air in my head, y'all. Worst experience ever. Y'all, they kept drugging me so I would not feel the pain. Y'all, it got so horrible when I got home. I broke down and cried. I couldn't hold my baby. I had ended up going back to the hospital. This time I ended up going back to the hospital that know me. That know who I am, y'all. Know me. I was in the hospital for 3 days. They released me on a Thursday. I ended up going back in the hospital on a Friday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Nope. I got out Wednesday because they tried to keep me Thursday. I said, no, I'm going home. Like my doctor had left. It was another doctor came in. And y'all, this doctor is like the same doctor that when I came in, Dr. P, when I came in, she was there. She left. My doctor came. Then she came back, y'all. She was so berberine. I'm talking to her about the pain. She's like, oh, it's nice up there. What did you say, huh? I was so pissed, y'all. So she ended up she's like, come and see me in my office. No, I'm going to see my doctor. Like, I was like, where's my doctor? I was cussing the people out at the hospital. Where's my doctor? Y'all don't know what y'all doing. They wanted me to stay Thursday. I said no. I left. Like, period. I left. I went home. Went home with my babies. My daughter, shout out to my daughter, y'all. She's been helped since day one, since I've been home. But anyways, I came home to my babies. I wasn't able to breastfeed my son. It was so much pain. I wasn't able to do anything. It was like so much pain. Excuse my daughter, she walked out. I wasn't to do anything.
Mama called me.
Okay. I wasn't able to do anything. It was so much pain, y'all. Like, it was so painful. I ended up going back to the hospital on that Friday. The doctors at the hospital that knows me, they was, so wonderful to me, y'all. They know exactly what was happening. They got my pressure down. And from that Monday, everything was perfect, y'all. I was back to a normal person. I was driving. I was feeling better. So, yeah, shout out to them. But, yeah, I'm just here to educate y'all on the epidural. If y'all get an epidural, be mindful that when you sign those papers, you sign it telling them, like, you understand the risks of getting an epidural. They are not responsible for anything that happened to you. So be mindful. I say go natural because technically that's what I did. I just got medicine to stop the pain, but I felt everything else. Like, literally. The epidural only worked 3 hours. Be very mindful. That's not me. She's doing a little popping. Be very mindful. Hey, Mom. I'm doing a video now. You know, in my video. Be very mindful. But I'm going to get ready and end this video. If you follow me on social media, y'all already seen my baby. But for those who didn't, this is my big old baby, Tylan. He still likes to get into the womb position. He still likes to look like he's in the womb. But make sure you all follow me. I'm going to try to stay consistent on doing more videos. Right, Tylan? Say hi to the people. Hi, people. I'm going to stay consistent. But if y'all like this video, give this video a thumbs up and comment down below. And we out. We're going to see y'all. I got to attend to my baby. Say bye. Madison, y'all say bye.
Bye.